Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Navs Effect podcast. I'm your host Naveen Ganglani. It's great to have you all here, whether you're watching live or when you're watching this replay on Spotify. A big thank you to everyone who tuned into our last episode reacting to Game 3 of the UAAP Finals between the Del Sol Green Archers and the UP Fighting Maroons. It was a classic series that went down to the wire, LaSalle winning. Joining me today on this podcast is head coach Charles Chu of the CSB Blazers. Coach Charles also checked out the UAAP Finals. He'll be joining me in discussing what might have gone right for LaSalle, what might have gone wrong for UP, and then we'll touch a little bit about his CSB Blazers and also maybe talk about some fantasy sports down the stretch of this episode. Now, before we get started, a big thank you to the friends of this podcast, Cooper's Coffee House, number one for me in Manila when it comes to coffee or even matcha, if that's more your vibe right now. Recently, I've been more of a matcha guy. And also a big thank you to Daily Fantasy, another partner of this podcast. And we got some great news. Cooper's Coffee House has now opened in Green Hills. So the San Juan peeps out there, if you want the best coffee in Manila, you know where to go. We're also giving away gift certificates to Cooper's Coffee House towards the end of this episode. So make sure to watch out for the queue on the screen. We're going to ask, what was your favorite part about this episode? All you gotta do is answer that. The best answer wins 1,000 pesos worth of GCs. And also, for those who are fantasy sports enthusiasts, if you haven't yet, make a daily fantasy account. After this episode is done being recorded live, I'm going to put a link to join Daily Fantasy with my referral code that could earn you a free entry to a game on the app or even on your web browser if that's where you prefer to play it. It's quite simple. You just gotta make an 8-man team using some credits you're given, and it's low risk, high reward. They also have a big prize game coming up tomorrow in the PBA. I'll be putting the details of that on the screen as well. 150 grand on the line. So why not give it a chance? Okay, we're now joined by head coach Charles Hsu of the CSB Blazers. Coach Charles, a friend of this podcast. He's been here before and you guys know him, I'm sure. Coach, how are you doing, man? I mean, you enjoying your Christmas break?
I'm good. A bit better right now. Yeah, get time to relax and unwind a bit. So yeah, thanks for having me. By the way.
Man, you're always welcome here. So I'm happy you told me you got to watch the UAP finals because I also want to pick the brain of someone who is in the basketball landscape, college basketball landscape in the Philippines. I mean, from an X's and O's perspective, what did you see that LaSalle did right that enabled them to win that series against UP? Because I mean, they weren't underdogs per se, but they were a 4 seed, and I feel like a lot of people had UP winning the series, even if LaSalle swept the elimination round battles. But what was the key in LaSalle winning this championship?
Well, I mean, you look at the stats. Actually, you look at just let's just focus on game three first. I mean, look at all the numbers. They're pretty much even. It boiled down to basic fact that LaSalle made more shots. I felt that UP had a lot of chances to put LaSalle away. They wasted a lot of fast break opportunities where they had numbers. I thought for me that one of the turning points was, I think Torres had a fast break opportunity and instead he lost the ball trying to force it over two guys and LaSalle got a big basket and that kind of changed the momentum. But obviously, Coach Topex made the right decisions. His rotations were great. The combinations were good. He risked it a bit in game number three, going three big, something they hadn't really prepared. Ran one action that got them 6 to 8 points, a little post or triangle type of action. I mean, and those points are huge, especially in a finals game where it's so tough to score. I thought Mike Phillips was great. And then, I mean, they did everything. They went small ball for a bit, LaSalle, but guys stepped up. I think it's as simple as that. Baclaan wasn't scoring too much, but he made right plays. I thought he organized very well. Amos Mason was great. He had really huge stops, a huge possessions, a solid game three for him, and obviously first two games he Luis Pablo was really solid. But I just love how LaSalle just showed composure. Like they could easily have folded, but they never did. And you could kind of say the same for UP, especially in game number two. Pero it was really impressive. I mean, it was a high level, high quality basketball game, and then Marasigan could have been like a LaSalle legend if he hit that shot in game number two. It doesn't work out for some reason. I was like, man, it wasn't really meant for this. I was with some of the managers after the game, and we are like, "Man, how can you be mad with that type of a loss, diba?" And then game number three, Boris was the one who hit what 5 straight points to kind of put LaSalle ahead, and I guess the rest is history.
How much mental strength does it take for a player to be able to come back from missing a shot like that at the end of game two and then come up clutch in game three the way Boris did? And by the way, it was ironic how he shot at the end of game two, went in and out, and then that first baseline mid range jumper in game three was out and in.
I mean, it takes a lot. I'm telling you. I mean, give credit to Boris for having that toughness. Give credit to the staff for really preparing him. I don't think a lot of people realize how different of a stage it is to play in the finals or even in the final four in this level for the college level. There are nerves there, 100%. Like you can't prepare for that until you're really there, until you really experience it, and then you combine it with the crazy crowd of both teams, UP and LaSalle. Grabe, I mean, that's such a nice environment to play in, but it's not easy. I'm telling you, every mistake scrutinized. I mean, you look at after every game, you watch all the comments. If you're reading the comments on social media, you go nuts. So for these kids to be able to have that mentality, that mindset to just play and forget about it, it's really impressive to me.
Social media. It could be the best thing or it could be the absolute worst thing. Now, the Jacob Baylor defense and Jacob Cortez, I wouldn't go as far as to say that it absolutely worked because I still feel like Cortez got some numbers in game two. Now, in game three, the first half, that's when it got a little worrisome to me because I think at that point, Cortez only had maybe 3 or 5 points and took like 2 or 3 field goal attempts. And then someone who, closely follows LaSalle told me that if you notice, LaSalle used Baylor's defense against UP because Jacob Baylor was playing deny defense, prevent defense on Cortez so much that LaSalle just said, okay, we'll play you 4-on-4 and we're going to get the ball to Phillips more and more. And another kind of analysis I heard from a sports agent with players from both teams, he told me, if you notice, UP kept reacting or adjusting to what LaSalle was doing rather than them implementing what they wanted to do their own style. Do you agree with that?
That's tough. When you lose, there's so many stuff that you can say about anything. Every decision is pretty much questioned. I do like the point about Jacob focusing on Jacob Cortez too much. I wouldn't say too much, but that's what some people don't realize. Like maybe even if Jacob isn't really scoring, the fact that he's there, I mean, the defense respects him so much, and for you to take out one help defender is a huge thing in terms of basketball. Give you so much more space to operate offensively, and that's where I'm saying I love what Coach Topex and his staff did. They found another way to attack. Mike Phillips had his best offensive game. He was keeping LaSalle alive in the first half, and then they weren't gonna let Jacob kill them again, right? So every pick and roll, you see a hard show, this and that. It was great, but I like that LaSalle really. I mean, the guy stepped up. It's funny. Somebody from UP, very close to the team, I think, even said, we're happy when Mason's in the game. But I guess Mason proved that no, he can really hurt you, which he did. Um, but to your other point, I mean, let's give LaSalle credit. I think you can say that they had the upper hand in the coaching battle here. But as much as you can say, okay, the defense on Cortez was great. That game two win from UP, that was basically Jerry Abadiano just not wanting to lose, man. I mean, he made all those plays down the stretch and led UP to that win. It's hard to just give one or to point out to one aspect as the reason for winning a game. I mean, it's a total team effort, and in the end, I thought LaSalle players just showed a bit more composure. What I think, to be honest, watching it seemed like a lot of the UP guys kind of. I don't want to say played selfishly, but wanted to take matters into their own hands a bit. Wanted to go for that home run, that kill right away when they could have
Mm-hmm.
made the simple play. Like they just wanted to finish Lasal and blow them out, but it didn't happen. That's why you give so much credit to Lasal, di ba? Parang medyo nawala konti yung team effort or team game of UP. It relied on a lot of one-on-one, and I think that went to Lasal's favor.
So if you're UP at the end of the series, is the sentiment more, man, we gave it our all, our players played superb, LaSalle just beat us? Or is it we left a lot of opportunities on the table with our own self inflicted mistakes?
I think it's a bit of both. You for sure you have to say LaSalle beat you because it's not like UP played bad. They played pretty good, but like again, LaSalle made some really great plays. I mean, easily it could have been 0-2 also in favor of UP, right? I mean, it was that close of a series, but I would really look back at. I mean, watching the game, I kept thinking in my head, man, UP has so many fast break chances, so many plays where they had numbers or an advantage and they didn't capitalize. And it actually reminded me a lot of Benil last year against Mapua in the finals. Not, I mean, obviously we played way worse because that we were really throwing the ball away. But when you don't capitalize on the opportunities, it really hurts. And those are huge, 4 or 5 point swings that can just change the game. And that's really where I felt UP got hurt the most, more than anything.
Now, LaSalle also went through a lot of adversity during the season. They lost Amos and they lost Baclaan, and then they had the three-game losing streak where they lost to NU, Adamson, and FU. That FU Adamson losses were by one possession as well. And then you also heard a lot of the criticism about LaSalle. Oh, they can't win. They don't run proper plays. They look, lost and confused. And then I feel like they really hit their stride towards the end of the season. So I always also tell people college basketball season, particularly the UAAP where there are 8 teams, it can feel like a sprint more than a marathon a lot of times. And if you can keep coming back from adversity, if you can keep getting knocked down and keep standing right back up the way LaSalle did during the season, then whatever challenges and tribulations you might face in the biggest moments, you're just used to coming back from that. Is there any truth to that? That because LaSalle kept going through these hardships during the elimination round, when they got to the Final Four and finals, they were just mentally stronger than their opponents, hence why they had better composure.
100%. I mean, it really helps you build character going through a lot of these challenges for sure. But I mean, let's not forget it. Let's not forget that it was really close, man. I think that there was that one game where LaSalle came from way behind to pull off that upset over UE, right? In one first or second round. I don't remember, but imagine if they lost that game. It would have been crazy, and they might not even have made the Final Four. But that's sometimes the way basketball works, how the season goes, right? But even those games against NU, that's crazy. Jacob doesn't hit those shots, man. LaSalle would have been in vacation way earlier. So it's really impressive for them to go through this path, and it makes this championship even sweeter, for sure. I mean, obviously losing Mason, losing Kian at some point in the season really changes a lot of things. I mean, losing Mason probably opened up a lot of opportunities for Pablo and gave him a lot of confidence, and he became a different player after that. So, it all kind of works out, and yeah, they've been through so much that again you're used to these situations, and then you have a great coach like Coach Topex, who's just so good at handling players. It just gives you the confidence to believe and to win every game, and sometimes that's half the battle.
Interesting. And by the way, we got some commenters right now tuning in. First, Matthew Lee of Tiebreaker Times,
You,
jokingly saying, I hate you, Charles.
Matthew,
Shout out to
I know
Matt.
you. I know you miss me.
And also, of course, we got Maui Yap of the Boleros podcast saying, love the insights. Huge fan of Coach Charles. We need the Maui and the Boleros boys to start covering the NCAA also and give some
Yeah, come
analysis.
on, give us some marketing,
Um,
some hype too.
yeah, I mean, the NCAA is up for a new TV deal. They gotta figure that out, right? Now, just to kind of bridge LaSalle and CSV, because we know that they go hand in hand. We're still waiting for that double TAF celebration, by the way. We need to make that happen.
I've been
Um,
waiting too, man.
when you see the way La Salle succeeded throughout the last 3 years, I mean, obviously, I'm sure you watch that and you think, man, I want to experience that with the Blazers. I want to experience that with CSB. So, when you look back at the last few years, coach, what do you think has been? I know it's more than one aspect, there are multiple layers to it, but what do you think is the strongest factor to why you guys haven't been able to get to the mountaintop of the NCAA?
I don't know. Maybe one. I think I'm a terrible coach. I'm sure that's a factor there. The first time Letran clearly had more experienced than us. We made it to the finals the next year, and it's like every year after the finals, there's a bit of a letdown. Like you kind of lose that hunger the second year around with our group. This year was last year. Mapua they deserved that championship. They really killed us. I mean, we were like deer in the headlights in the finals, throwing the ball away, and they were so hungry coming off a heartbreaking loss to San Beda the previous year, right? But we just couldn't figure it out, and we've been a few plays away. Even this year, like in my heart, I'm convinced if we beat San Beda, we probably could have won that championship. But as it is, San Beda really they're on a different level this year. It showed also in the finals. But that's basketball. Sometimes you need a lot of things to go your way. I mean, obviously, look at LaSalle, their season this year. Again, a lot of things didn't go their way, but heck, they found a way to win it. And for us, we've been through so much. There's a lot of drama, a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. There are a lot of egos, a lot of different challenges. And when you're not as solid as a team, it makes winning so much harder. And obviously, that responsibility would fall under me. So, I think I need to do a better job with the team. Obviously, you can't be content saying, hey, you know what, you've still taken the team to Final Fours when they've never really been there. But still, I mean, your goal is to win a championship. And if you're not there, then, I mean, to me, that's still falling short and that's still not good enough.
You mentioned that there were problems with egos and that the team wasn't together. Now, to be fair, you guys also were handed some pretty tough cards with injuries to Liwag, with the dengue fever, if I'm not mistaken, early in the season that many of your players went through. And also, there was some confusion probably with the new NCAA system of how the tournament
Tell me about
format was and all that in between, right? But what were aspects that CSB as a team could have controlled in terms of playing more as a unit that you feel you guys came up short on?
you know, Obviously, when you've had some sort of success, like being in the finals, everybody wants a bit more. Especially when they start playing well, they're like, "Man, I should be the man," and that kind of thing really hurts a lot. I agree. That's a great comment. Yeah, 100%. Well, again, things just didn't go our way. Enoch basically missed the whole preseason with his ankle injury. He was playing on one leg. He's going to get surgery pretty soon. So stuff like that really factored in. But I think a lot of guys kept saying, I want the ball. And then some guys start to not like each other. And sometimes it shows on the court. We tried our best to manage it. But again, that's where the egos, the chemistry part comes in. And it's tough, man. I mean, we're a bit of a team that kind of some guys it's their second year playing together. Some guys it's their first year playing together. We've got a lot of new pieces, and it's never easy to build versus a team that's a core that's been there for 3 4 years. Everybody's solid on the same page, and again, that's why I feel I should be responsible in that aspect to get guys to play better. But that's part of basketball. I mean, we see it a lot, even the NBA. But in the NBA, they can just ship a guy out. Here, we're stuck with the same guy, so it's up to us to develop and improve.
This
I
new
like those
format
comments.
has a lot of
Tell me, tell
this
me
new
about
format,
it.
yeah.
I've been against it from day one, even before knowing that San Beda would be our bracket. Just no, because I really wanted to play more games. I mean, you have guys training the whole year round, and you're gonna take away 5 games from them that they could play. So that was my main thing, more than the bracket. And then they were telling us that, hey, don't worry, even if there's a group of death or whatever, you're gonna have crossover in the playoffs. All right. I didn't know it's crossover, then back to your group. It should have been crossover all the way FIBA style. But it is what it is. No excuses. As I said, we'd have to go through San Beda either way, right? I mean, if we lost in the final four in the finals, would have been the same result. So nah, no excuses.
Sounds like, coach, that you should be in the next NCAA Mancom meetings. Maybe give them a piece of your opinion on how
Well,
to structure the format.
if they're watching this, I
um,
might get into trouble. But
so you guys went through so many challenges, and then in particular, there was that first game against Mapua, where after the loss, you just went scorched earth on your players in terms of your comment, and where I think safe to say you questioned their manhood to some degree. not manhood off the court, but on the court. You felt they played scared against Mapua, the team that beat them in the finals last year. So naturally, it's almost like if you have the chance to eliminate the same guys who eliminated you last year, you're supposed to do that, right? When you gave those comments after the game, were they calculated in order to spark up something in your boys, or was most of that your emotions from the way the game unfolded?
To be honest, it was 100% calculated. I mean, I wanted to challenge them. I easily could have said those things behind closed door, which we also did, right? But I wanted to send a message because I know they're all reading everything on social media. I want them to be pissed at me. I told them, look, you can be pissed at me and shut me up and make me look bad. I don't care as long as you go play together and win. And it was just disheartening the first game against Mapua because the way we lost was kind of like the way we lost in the finals. And I'm like, we talked about this for a whole year about wanting to get back at them, wanting to bounce back, and you're gonna play like that again. So I'm glad that it kind of worked in that way. I mean, they played much better in the second game, but ironically, that same thing I was saying, we wanted to get back at Mapua. Apparently, San Beda wanted the same thing. Even see James Payusing, who's now playing in UP, was like, Coach, hindi. When they lost last year, see Yuki Andrada was really, really devastated. Grabe raw yung iyak. And they really were like, their mindset this whole year was, we're gonna get back at Benilde. And man, they did. They kicked our butts for sure.
So moving forward now, you guys are still chasing that elusive championship. I mean, Enot is gonna have his surgery, but then he's also gonna move on to the PBA after getting drafted. Are you losing anyone else of significance? Because I know Liwag can come back another year. Celis obviously showed improvement, and what could have been had he never gotten sick, out of the blue in a big
Oh,
game. That's a question to ask. Eusebio showed a little something in that battle for third game. First of all, are you coming back next season? Have you decided on that? And two, if you are coming back, how's the team going to look?
I'd like to think so. As of now, I'm still here in Benil. I don't think I've said yes to anything else. We're losing five guys. Okay, yeah. Do we have five or six guys? Well, actually, we have quite a few guys in Team B. I wouldn't say anybody is really a game changer yet, but there are guys that can contribute to the team. So we have guys to replace him. Obviously, Enot's going to be the biggest loss, and Sean Umali. Then you have Jake Caspay, Gab Cometa, and Matthew Ollie. So five guys who basically were playing. So it's going to be a big loss. But again, to your point, to some of the comments, yeah, SJ Moore, he's one guy I've talked to about. I mean, funny thing with SJ, and he knows this is. I was just texting this about texting him about this whole thing yesterday. Is that he has to get better. I mean, everybody will see that dunk, and you all think, wow. But if you watch the tape, I mean, he's getting scored on six times, and you're giving me 2 points in a highlight dunk. That's not basketball. And then you see the work ethic in practice. You see the way they move. You're like, does this guy deserve to play or not? And that's a challenge that a lot of these players, or I mean, I wouldn't say a challenge, but it's something that not a lot of people see. They'll see a highlight play. Don't get me wrong. I've told SJ straight that he is the most athletic player in the whole NCAA. I've told him I think he has the most potential in our team together with Rafi Celis. But if he's not going to put in the work, he's going to sit on the bench just like he did this year. And he knows it. He agrees. He told me when he comes back in January, I'm going to see something different. So I'm looking forward to that. But SJ's a good guy. I like the guy. Humble kid, walang yabang. But there are a lot of things. And the interesting thing is I found out that he only just started playing basketball during the pandemic. He was actually a baseball player. So
Mm.
medyo late bloomer rin siya. That's why there are a lot of things that he has to work on. And if you're in a team that's in a developmental stage where you just want to let guys play, yeah, sure. I'll let him play all he wants. But we're on that level where you're playing a team like San Beda. And look, it came down to one possession, one or two possessions. One mistake could cost you the game. And that was basically, you watch that UP LaSalle finals, one mistake changes the game. Same thing on both ends. So that's what people
Mm-mm.
don't realize. I mean, yes, they'll give me these highlight this energy, but sometimes you give them stretches, you get burned, and it's a gamble that you have to go through. Now with the point guard comment earlier, I think there's this comment about CSB needing a point guard like Baclan or Cortez. Obviously, those two guys are great point guards. For sure, they've been blue chip recruits since they were in high school. I think I like my guards, Torres, Ancheta. We have Halalon and Nathan. We're trying to develop, but it's not a knock on them. But I still really think. I mean, you look at Ian and Ancheta. Where did they come from? Really, in high school, they came from small programs. Nobody even knew them. And there's always a difference. Sorry to say, when guys are coming from good or great basketball programs in high school. I mean, Baclan, Cortez, they were what? UAAP, NCAA. I mean, Baclan was in Zobel. I think he was even in San Sebastian. But when you get to play against the best in your age and get trained or proper coaching, it's always a different. Angat ka talaga, kahit no matter what you say. And that's really a factor. But for what it's worth, I love both Ancheta and Ian. And I still think we have something in them. I mean, I want to bring out the best in their game, and hopefully they can continue to grow as players. Because I mean, they're. I told them, you're coming from nowhere, but you're making a name for yourself. So it's something positive. We have Ronji Go, who came from UE. He's in Team B right
We
now. To be honest, I haven't seen much of our Team B. I've been focused on our season, and then we have Jesse Arshaga, who was there also, who played in the past. So I think those two guys are two bigs in Team B. But I think the bottom line is if Alan Liwag will come back. Seems like he is, but you never know when teams out of nowhere want to swoop in and try to recruit them. That's always a factor or a challenge we have to deal with. I'm hoping he stays. I mean, he texted me after the Game 3 loss. He felt so responsible for that loss, because he said he missed 3 free throws and Andrada scored him 3 times. I said, you know what? Yes, those things happen, but it's not your fault. I mean, I keep saying we wouldn't be in that position if it weren't for you anyways. And you don't lose because of one player. You lose because of everybody altogether. But I'm hoping that motivation for him. And then obviously he was hurt by a lot of comments online about him being the MVP. But here's the funny thing. I mean, everybody's bashing him or making fun of that MVP, but we knew it. That's why I let him get 7 games, because I checked and they said, yeah, if you play more than 50%, you'll be eligible. So I said, all right, let's play. Let's get your numbers and go. I mean, I didn't see anything wrong with it. Obviously, people aren't aware of the rules. They don't even know how the stat points work to a player's favor or not. And we do. I mean, we care for our players. If I have an opportunity to help the guy get an MVP, man, I'm gonna do it for his own career too. So it is what it is. And to be fair, if he played the whole season, he probably would have been MVP anyways. But as we said,
true.
malas talaga eh. Shoulder injury, dengue, lahat na second dengue this year for Allen. So it was really tough. But it is what it is, I guess.
And he also was MVP the year before, so it's not like this was a fluke. He has proven that he's MVP caliber. Before we move on to the next topic, coach, I'm curious to get your thoughts on who do you think is the best point guard in college basketball right now? Is it Jacob Cortez?
That's well, he just won a championship. So I mean, skill wise, offensively, if you're talking about the whole just offensive package, then you got to go with Jacob. But obviously, you got guys like Nigel Gonzalez on the other side for Beda making a name for himself. I mean, because he's physical, he's a PBA point guard too. Obviously, I think Jacob's way more skilled than him. But you have Manalili also. He would have won MVP if not for Allen. He was number two behind Allen. He's tough. He just doesn't play much defense, and his shooting isn't there yet. But you give him the ball, you're almost getting a triple double type numbers every game. Top 3 to 5. That's hard. And to be honest, I barely watched the UAAP this year, but you gotta throw in Pasaol, right? He was the MVP.
MVP.
Yeah, I mean, I like Jared Bahay, but guys in Ateneo never really produce good numbers, and then he also had a bit of an up and down year. You have Fortsky, but I think you gotta go with Jacob, right? I mean, Jacob, maybe Nigel and Manalili for me are the best. Those three are ensure PBA players in the future.
All right, now let's talk about fantasy sports, particularly daily fantasy. You and your brother Chris have partnered up with Daily Fantasy to help grow and evolve fantasy basketball and fantasy sports in the Philippines. Now, fantasy sports, it's different from traditional sports gambling and sports betting. I think that's one piece of education that a lot of people need to know because when they see daily fantasy, they think, oh, sugalan naman yan. And yes, some money is involved, but not in the traditional sense of sports betting. So, what made you and Chris, or what What about fantasy sports, particularly daily fantasy, appealed to you and Chris that made you guys want to be partners with the brand?
Well, to be honest, the first thing we both asked is like, is it betting? Is it gambling? And they're like, no. They reassured us, so we're like, okay, let's explore. But to be honest, I've been a fantasy player for more than 20 years already. I'm a big fantasy guy. Yahoo Fantasy back in the day. Obviously, this whole new format of daily fantasy was something I had to get used to because it's game by game. But I guess there's pros and cons for guys lazy to have one whole season. But I've had fantasy leagues that we've played for more than 10, 15 years together, and it's fun. We like competing. Turns out I'm not as good as I thought in fantasy because when I play these daily fantasy games, I don't do too well. I used to be good in the traditional Yahoo Fantasy, but it's fun, and it's funny. Everybody's like, yeah, you're coaching a school. I'm like, yeah, I'm not telling you to bet or to play free games. Shoot, I play free games. You don't need to put money to play just to have fun, right? I like to compete against others, and it turns out there are a lot of people that are really good in fantasy. Galing rin talaga. But no, I like the brand, and I like that they're trying to push basketball too. I mean, Daily Fantasy's been supporting a lot in the PBA, also even here, and obviously the NBA. So it's a great brand. I mean, the guys behind it are great. The Jeff and them, they're good friends. So it's cool. I mean, I love fantasy.
Did you ever win a fantasy league? Ever become a
What?
champion in a fantasy
Yeah,
league?
of course, man. Quite a few times. So yeah, I used to. That's why I thought I used to be good until you start playing here, and man, I'm horrible.
What was the closest you ever came to winning one of the daily games? Do you recall?
I won one, but it turned out like 80 other people. I was so proud. I was telling them, hey, I won. But I was like, oh man, a lot of there are like 80 others, and they're like, yeah, it was the picks were obvious. I'm like, come on. I mean, I thought I actually was a smart guy. I forgot who it was, but I won one. I won. Yeah, I won one time. Obviously, free games. I only play free games. Although it's pretty cool. I mean, for
So,
guys that really are
yeah.
confident in themselves, they could put a little money and try to win prizes. I mean, I would say like stocks. I mean, it's funny when you play these Gardenscapes, these Candy Crush games, dude. You also put money there to get more points and coins. It's the same thing.
I mean, it's like virtual currency in NBA 2K as well. People buy their virtual currency now
Exactly,
online.
exactly.
So when you come up with a fantasy team, whether that's the traditional fantasy sports or your daily fantasy lineups, are there specific statistical categories you're aiming for? Are you aiming for steals, blocks, some of the 3 points made, some of the less sexy statistics, shall we say, but end up holding big value? Or are you more of a balanced guy? Do you employ a punt strategy? What's your strategy?
No, in the traditional one, yeah, we used to go either let's get all the bigs. I mean, depending on who my first pick was, right? You build around a team and punt free throw percentage, punt turnovers, but you're good in field goals, whatever. There's so many different strategies that we've mixed and matched. But here with daily fantasy, I'm just getting the best players that I can, then just trying my intuition. Okay, this guy may have a big game today. Looking at who's not playing that day, maybe if a guy gets more run, right? I mean, the categories for the daily fantasy are a bit less, so it's a bit more challenging too. But I guess that's what makes it fun.
Imagine if college basketball had fantasy sports. Like you could come
Mike
up with
Phillips,
a
man.
fantasy team lineup. So he would be your number one pick immediately.
Wait, in daily fantasy, there's no free throw percentage, so you just get me all those rebounds, blocks, and yeah, I take Mike Phillips. I take
Okay, that's a good segue to the game I wanted to play actually, because I was gonna have you and I draft our. Let's make it 5 team lineups first for now.
all
Okay.
right, just five guys. Yeah, that
Um,
makes
yeah, NCAA and UAAP, so college basketball. We can mix both. Because the NCAA doesn't have FSAs, we won't include FSAs in this practice. But we also have to do it by position. So point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, center. And because I'm very kind, I'm going to give you the first pick, which I probably have a good feeling I know who you're going to pick, right?
so I'm picking NCAA or UAP or all over.
You can mix. We can mix, yeah.
Ooh. All right, I'll go with Allen Lewog first. I gotta go.
Okay,
Guy.
going sticking with your guy. I like it. That's one great way to get Allen to 100% come back to CSB next season. Pick him number one in your team. I'm gonna go Mike Phillips with my first pick. my center. And yes, attendance check. Hello, Ian. Thanks for tuning in. Did you hear about those comments from Xavier Lucero, by the way? Did you see
That
those
was that
comments?
was funny. That was funny. When you read it though, when you read it in social media, it's different from when you actually
Yeah.
watch the video. But that's how it is nowadays. But
Mm-mm.
it's fun. I mean, he asked for it. I guess he's cool with it. He probably doesn't care.
We need more banter like that in college ball. People just being
Yeah,
like, "Yeah, I'm gonna trash talk." Yeah,
yeah.
it
That's
just
not. It
adds
makes
to
it
the
fun.
fun.
Yeah, it does.
Anyway, your next pick. So you have a center already. I have a center already too.
Got Mike Phillips, man. Okay, I'll go with Manalili.
Oh man, that's a stat machine.
For
All
sure.
right, I'll go Jan Ray Pasaol on with my
All
point
right,
guard position.
all right. That's
All
fair.
right, so we have centers and point guards.
I'll go with Figueroa.
Sheesh, that's a great pick. He's your SF, I'm guessing, right? Or
Yeah.
are you gonna slot him with the two guard?
Let's put him as a I don't know SGSF, whatever. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe three. Okay, we'll
Okay,
put it my SF.
okay. I'm gonna go John T. Miller as my two
Ooh,
guard.
I like that. That's tough. I don't even know who the power forwards are. Can't I was who do we have? Trying to think. Come on, guys, help me. If anybody's watching, I got things. I'll go with a wild card pick. I'll go with uh De La Rama of San Sebastian because he was actually also a Mythical Five member, I believe. He gets double digit rebounds every game. So he's my SG.
That's a good one. That's a good
I
one.
mean, they
So
were
to recap
positionless,
right
but still.
now, I have Phillips, Pasaol, and John T. And then you have Liwag, Manalili, Del Rama, and Figueroa. Hmm. I'm
Yeah.
starting to get curious who would win a basketball game, like an actual basketball game between both sides. Okay, let's see. Oh, hey, by the way, Roger Ondoa, your one of your
Oh,
players
Roger.
comments. Ian Torres. When are you
I
gonna
miss
pick Ian
Roger.
Torres?
Manalili has better numbers, but I'll take Ian for my team definitely, 100%.
Of
We're
of
just talking
course,
about
of course.
fantasy.
All
We're talking
right.
about fantasy basketball lang naman. We miss
Just to get
Roger.
my threes, I'm gonna go Kimani Ladi.
All right. Percentage isn't good though, but yeah, there's no percentage in daily fantasy style, right? So
Yeah. So
I need a
Kimani's my
power.
fourth pick. Who's your
I need a
final
power.
pick?
Ooh, that's tough, man. I'm trying to see. I'm trying to think from the UAAP. Can I put Momo way at the four spot? Come on, does that count?
We're not doing FSA, sir.
Oh, we're not. Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh, that's tough. I will go. Let's go small ball and put Caballero.
Oh, you're scoring and will be good then. He's one of the top scorers in the UA. The top scorer, I think, average wise in the UAAP.
Yeah,
That's a good
I'll
lineup.
get Alter. No, pass. I will get Caballero, and I'll put Figueroa at the four. We're small ball.
Interesting. Okay, I want to go with a wild card. I want to go with an NCAA player for my last pick. Hmm. You know what? I'm gonna go Patrick Sleet. Why not? Get some perpetual representation there. So my five-man lineup: John Ray Pasaol at the one, at the two guard Patrick Sleet, at the three I'll put John T. Miller, I'll put Kimani Lodi at the four, and then at the five I'll put Mike Phillips. Your five are Delarama. He's your PF or SF?
Let's put him as my SF. Figueroa at the PF. Liwag.
Okay, Liwag.
Manali.
Manalili at the point, and your two guard
Caballero.
is who's your last? Cabanero. Okay. Man. Okay, I think in a game of actual basketball, I think my team would win. I
Maybe.
just have like Kimani and John T and spread the floor and then have Patrick or Pasaol play pick and roll with Mike. How would you guard that? How would you guard it?
You have two guys that can't shoot, so we'll go zone maybe. Well, not that Patrick can't shoot. He's, let's say, so shooting wise. I like him. I like him though.
Who would
Chris,
have
you
better
hunt for fan. Oh,
stats?
my
Who
brother
would
has
have
good
better
stats.
who would have better fantasy stats? You or Chris?
Him actually. Yeah. See, I like your comment. Yeah. You. There you go. There you go. We're small, but
Ma- yeah, has a lot of
we're talking about
speed. That
fantasy.
guy,
I mean,
Maki.
we're talking about fantasy lang, so stats lang. Diba? If it were a real game, I'd get the guys that killed me, like Andrada. Just kidding. Sahonia.
Sonya. Hey, by the way, while I have you here, real quick, did you have any thoughts about what happened at the end of Game Three between some of the Sunbeda fans and the former Sunbeda players?
I have no idea. Oh, happy birthday to Bong. I think its birthday today. Um,
Yeah.
about the actually, to be honest, I didn't see what happened, and I didn't want to put any more color into it. Obviously, they got into some fans that they said were also the same fans that they got into it with in the very first game. But to me, it's I mean, we know San Beda fans are very passionate. Na lang, let's use the word passionate. But again, we just try to tell the players just stick to the basketball court and just focus there. We're talo tayo palagi if we end up fighting the fans, whether or not they deserve it. But I guess it teaches us toughness, right? But sometimes there's probably a limit to what guys can tolerate, and I don't really blame them. But that's what happens.
How do you feel about the way Gilas played last night?
To be honest, I missed the game, man. But I'm happy they won. I saw the stats. I thought Jamie Malonzo was great all throughout, right? Ray Parks, and even I don't know about yesterday, but in the semis game, 30 Ravenna was really solid. And it's funny, when I'm watching through the Gcash boys online, and everybody's bashing like, take out 30, take out this. I'm like, oh, dude, 30 was the one who basically changed the game for them. So, you know, it's tough. I mean, it's
You know,
tough to be a player.
I've always
Everything's
appreciated
tough.
I've
Yeah,
always appreciated how open you are about the Gcash boys online. They're lifesavers, aren't they?
yeah, they're a
Especially when you're
lifesaver.
on the road.
They are a
Shout
lifesaver.
shout out to the Gcash boys. And yes, a happy birthday to Sir Bong Africa. I hope you enjoyed the LaSalle Championship. Now, Coach, this isn't confirmed yet, and it's in the early stages of processing. But if Sanbeda does move to the UAAP, how does that shift the landscape of college basketball for you?
Uh, Obviously, it's to make life easier in the NCAA, but I still would want to win with them there. Do I donate? I've thought about it a few times, to be honest, but I didn't want people knowing my numbers, so I passed. But I will. I'll make sure to donate to them. Thanks. With San Beda, I mean, it would be good for the UAP. To be honest, the way they played in this playoffs, they could beat UAP teams. I mean, the way they shot, and that's no disrespect. But they're solid, right? And they've dominated the NCAA for so long. But I'd prefer them to stay. It makes it more fun. I mean, they're one of the teams that always have the fan base that's kind of angry or challenging you. So and we need that in the NCAA. That's missing a bit. You look at the UAP, the fans, the alumni grabbing support. So hopefully in the NCAA it could happen.
Well, we'll see. Time will tell. There's a lot of boardroom meetings, shall we say, before we get to
Yeah.
that point. Coach Charles Shu, we said we'd go 30 minutes, but you've given us 44. Thank you so much for your time. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. Always great to have you on the podcast. Nice to know that your fantasy teams are doing good still, and I'll be seeing
Also,
you around. Thanks a lot, Coach.
thanks.
Appreciate
Thanks
it.
for having me. I mean, see you, man. Happy holidays.